What's good, everybody? It's your brother Nubreed coming through with another live stream. I'm going to allow YouTube a few minutes to send a notification out. We got some breaking news. Martial law is coming to America. It's only a matter of time. Not telling you when, but you can clearly see America becoming a tyrannical government right before our eyes. There's no doubt about that. That's right, everybody gather on around. So DC mayor, she just put Trump on blast for his federal takeover of DC. They done sent the National Guards out there to target our neighborhoods. And I believe this was done off false pretenses. A bunch of stories that they came up with. They had one story claiming some former Doge employee got beat up trying to stop a car mugging. Then they came with another felonious story of 100 teenagers pretty much bogarting the streets of DC with no evidence, no proof, no nothing. And they gave us these very deceptive stories that are pretty much lies. They're lies. They're spinning a narrative in order to engage our people in DC. And Trump pretty much blew a dog whistle yesterday to all white nationalists and white supremacists, letting them know that it's on and popping. He used some very interesting language when facing the nation. He talked about he was going to clean up the streets of DC. He used the word savagery. And we've been hearing that word a whole lot lately. When it comes to black people, we hear the word savage, savages or savagery, right? Because that's dehumanization language. But nonetheless, we're going to go to DC mayor because she put some things on blast. Now, for the record, DC crime been down 20%, 27% this year. Right? It's been down 27% this year. But nonetheless, you got Trump still sending the National Guards to violate our civil rights. Right? And I'm going to make it clear, the only reason he can get away with this in DC is because DC is not considered a state. It's considered a district, so he has govern over that. But the way things are going, he's going to do this to Chicago next, based on some of the rhetoric that he spewed yesterday. So, America is slowly giving up their freedoms and don't even see it. And the way they're going about this is targeting Black America first, federalizing our communities first. But hey, listen, I'm going to tell you, you YT people, y'all going to have to deal with it too. It's only a matter of time before you YT people are going to have to deal with government surveillance, federal targeting. The mark of the beast system is coming, and America will be a fed country. Right? Now, I'm going to go to DC mayor. This FBA sister stood on business, and she's been doing a fantastic job in Washington, D.C. Shout out to her. All of the locals like what she's doing. But Trump wants to do otherwise, right? He wants to change our community. There's a lot of community profiling going on, absolutely. But let's get into this.
The DC National Guard. We don't have senators or full autonomy. Limited home rule gives the federal government the ability to intrude on our autonomy in many ways.
Now, I don't know if y'all understand this legalese, this language, but I'm going to go back and I want y'all to hear this carefully because people don't seem to understand how severe this is, right? And I want to break this down to the minute detail, right?
Home rule gives the federal government the ability to intrude on our autonomy in many ways.
It gives the federal government ability to tread on our autonomy. That means our self-sufficiency. No longer can DC operate on its own merit. So now DC residents are pretty much under the, what would be the word? I'm going to say they're under the tutelage of federal agents. They're pretty much, in captivity in their own neighborhoods. But anyway, let's go.
I've said before, and I'll repeat, that I believe that the president's view of DC is shaped by his COVID era experience during his first term. And it is true that those were more challenging times related to some issues.
So what she's saying is during Trump's first election, he experienced some things in DC. DC's crime may have been up during COVID. DC might have been going through it then. But what the mayor is essentially saying is it's not like that now. Let's go.
It is also true that we experienced a crime spike post-COVID, but we worked quickly to put laws in place and tactics that got violent offenders off our streets and gave our police officers more tools.
So during his first time in office, crime did spike a little bit, but now they've fixed the problem. Let's go.
Which is why we have seen a huge decrease in crime because of those efforts. We have been able to reverse that 2023 crime spike. This year, crime isn't just down from 2023, it's also down from 2019, before the pandemic, and we're at a 30-year violent crime low. We're not satisfied. We haven't taken our foot off the gas, and we continue to look for ways to make our city safer. We know, however, as most have heard from the president's press conference, that he has prerogatives in DC.
Now, let me stop her here for a moment, because in case y'all haven't been watching the news, Trump said straight up that the National Guards can do whatever the hell they want to DC residents. That's what he said. They can do whatever the hell they want to DC residents. Now, that should be very troubling because, this is coming to a city near you. Yeah, National Guards in your streets, military in the streets, boots to the ground. And, they'll be able to come in your community and do whatever the hell they want. So Washington, D.C. is under a federal takeover. A federal takeover. And they're going to target all of our communities across every major city. What you're seeing right now is an ethnic purge. And then not to mention that they're going after the homeless to relocate them. Relocate them where? Where is he going to send the homeless? I believe that my personal belief is he's going to eradicate the homeless. Oh, y'all think that's too far-fetched? I don't believe that at all. Y'all remember during the Super Bowl, a whole lot of homeless people went missing. They set up these centers where the homeless were nowhere to be found, never to be seen, never to be heard from. Where else is he taking them? Some type of FEMA camps. Yeah, that's what's going on right now. Ethnic purging. They said they got black fatigue. They used their taskmasters to push that narrative. And now Trump is the solution for racist. Let's go.
Unlike anywhere else in the country, including his authority given by our home rule charter to require the mayor, to require me to supply services of the Metropolitan Police Department. And he also has control and the ability to deploy the National Guard. But let me be clear, as our home rule charter is also clear, and the President's executive order restates. Chief Pamela Smith is the chief of the Metropolitan Police Department, and its 3,100 members work under her direction. The Home Rule Charter requires the mayor to provide the services of MPD during special conditions of an emergency, and we will follow the law. Though there's a question about the subjectivity of that declaration. In fact, the chief has already provided a high-level liaison and point of contact with the federal government and made those initial contacts.
So what you have happening right now is the liaison who's in charge of dealing with any issues in regards to a public emergency, as you know, something really going on. The person in charge of that, she just listed the person's name, but that person is now reaching out to the federal government because there is no state of emergency. That's pretty much what she's saying. There is no state of emergency. And the person who deals with that specific branch, she's reached out to the federal government because, you know, Trump had no reason to deploy any National Guards to DC. It's all based on false narratives. He's doing whatever he wants to do. It's unconstitutional and it's outright wrong, right? Now I'm gonna go back so we can catch that again, because I like to break this down to the minute details so we can understand what's happening in the government right now, right?
A liaison and point of contact with the federal government and made those initial contacts. The executive order is also clear that the president has delegated his authority to make.
Or perhaps she's the one who made those initial contacts to Trump. Let me see. Let me go back a little bit. I want to be clear about this. I want to make sure I'm correct.
Those initial contacts.
Hold on.
The chief has already provided a high-level liaison and point of contact with the federal government.
Hold on. Let me go back a little bit more. We got to get context. Sorry about that, but let's go.
The Home Rule Charter requires the mayor to provide the services of MPD during special conditions of an emergency, and we will follow the law. Though there's a question about the subjectivity of that declaration. In fact, the chief has already provided a high-level liaison and point of contact with.
Okay, so this liaison that reached out to the federal government was appointed by Trump. So that's what's going on. This liaison that is in charge of DC was appointed by Trump. So of course, he or she reached out to the government claiming that it's a state of emergency so they can go through the protocols. That's what she's saying. It was that this person was appointed by Trump and reached out to the federal government, you know, probably under Trump's rule. And now you got boots to the ground in DC. All right, let's go.
The federal government and made those initial contacts. The executive order is also clear that the president has delegated his authority to make requests of us to Attorney General Pam Bondi. I have reached out to Attorney General Bondi and hope to schedule a meeting soon. My message to residents is this. We know that access to our democracy is tenuous. That is why you have heard me and many Washingtonians before me advocate for full statehood for the District of Columbia.
Yeah, DC is a district and it's not a normal state. DC is supposed to have full autonomy and operate on its own merit. It's the nation's capital, but it's a separate entity. All right. And I know all of this because I'm from DC. All right. I grew up I grew up in DC. All right. So that's why this story is near and dear to me, because I understand that Trump, he made some changes where he is now, you know, sentencing minors as adults, and he's changing the no cash bail law. And, for any minor infraction with our youth, they will be spending a long time behind bars. They will be doing fed time. And I have an issue with that because there's a lot of boys and girls clubs. There's a lot of youth programs that was taken away when I was growing up. And I witnessed the crime elevate when there was nothing to do. So the way they view cleaning up the community is not what it should be. Cleaning up the community should be more funding, more boys and girls clubs, more, activities for the youth. That's why they're getting in trouble. But even with all that being said, this mayor is making it clear, and the data and statistics show that DC crime rate has been down these last couple of years. So he's doing this for no reason. But anyway, let's continue.
We are American citizens. Our families go to war. We pay taxes and we uphold the responsibilities of citizenship. And while this action today is unsettling and unprecedented, I can't say that, given some of the rhetoric of the past, that we're totally surprised.
This reminds me of the Purge movie when they were surrounding the projects. And Trump made it clear that, that they were targeting certain neighborhoods. And I personally believe that there's some sting operation hits going on, because they're not telling us what criteria, other than I think people driving without a license. Those are the type of people they're doing a witch hunt after, or people who, they're just doing a straight up witch hunt in the hood. And we really have little to no criteria on why they're engaging the people. So what the hell are they doing? Yeah, a YN purge? Y'all just gonna send military into our communities and do what? 1 Peter 5:8, be alert and sober of mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. Ladies and gentlemen, this is war. And whether you like to admit it, if this caused you some fright, then you just got to cleave to the Most High and understand that we got to move different these days. These people seem to have it out for us. These people seem to really want us gone. Yep.
I can say to DC residents that we will continue to operate our government in a way that makes you proud.
And see, I'm glad that she's saying that. She's trying her best, man. And we got to understand, this sister is trying to stop what's going on. And I'm sure that she's under a lot of pressure right now, because a lot of people who work in DC, they're born and raised. I'm talking about born and raised, and then shaped it to go into politics, shaped to go into politics. And so, I'm pretty sure it's hard to see residents being engaged by the military. I'm pretty sure it's hard to see that stop and frisk is going on when DC has been so sovereign over the years. And see, the Bible tells us all about these times, man. We knew that this day would come.
We will balance our budgets. We will deploy our services. Our kids are going to start school on August 25th. And we will work with the federal government to do the things that they should do for our city, including
Meaning, okay, let me see what she says here.
making sure that we have the judges that we need, including making sure that all federal parks are supported, not just with law enforcement.
Now this is we gotta address this. Hold on. She said making sure that we have the judges we need. Because what'll end up happening is if Trump is just snatching people off the streets and we don't have the right judges, ain't no telling what will happen to those people. Right? So they're going to need the funding to make sure that there's some fair judges in there. We can't have a bunch of white supremacists as judges judging our young brothers and sisters. We can't have that now, can we? All right, y'all doing this sweep. Y'all engaging our people. Y'all doing some type of witch hunt, right? Because clearly y'all running out of time. You know, Satan is running out of time. The Most High is going to really fix this. But right now we going through Jacob's trouble. Right now we going through the birthing pains. Right now we dealing with the pressure cooker. And they know that they're running out of time. So they're trying to ramp up their programs to bring in the New World Order. But you're going to have people in office, such as mayors and governors in various states. They are going to push back. They're going to push back. You know, yeah, they got a definitely, Nikki, they got a whole witch hunt based on some media stories that we were told. Some former Doge employee gets jumped and beat up trying to stop a carjacking. This said Doge employee, they call his nickname Big Balls. And then they go do something ballsy, like send the National Guards to D.C. Does that sound right to anyone? DC's crime rate has been down the last 2 years, and they have just ignited a state of emergency out of nowhere. Even my fellow YT Americans, my Gentile Americans, y'all got to see something is extremely wrong with that story. Something is extremely wrong. It sounds very much scripted, but let's go.
Sure that all federal parks are supported, not just with law enforcement, but with other clean and safe activities, and including making sure that our
You see what she just said? That our parks is not chest enforced with law enforcement. What did she say? Activities. Why does she bring up activities? The same thing that I'm saying. The youth don't have enough activities. Nobody has anything to do, and when the youth ain't got nothing to do, they're going to wild out. I've witnessed this with my own eyes when they took away the run and shoot when I lived in Forest Creek. When I used to live in Forest Creek, they took away the run and shoot. What happened? YN started robbing people. You know what I'm saying? They took away, they took away a few Boys and Girls Club, a few youth programs. And then in DC, I don't know if y'all remember this, last year, a brother who ran a youth program, somebody smoked him. Yeah. Somebody took out a brother who was running a youth program. It's like, I don't know what kind of corruption is going on out there, but somebody don't want the youth to have any activities. And they want crime to be up in DC for whatever reason. That's my thoughts. But let's go.
All federal parks are supported, not just with law enforcement.
That's right. Let me see. Mobile Mama, she says, I'm from DC. Mayor Marion Barry took care of the youth, summer youth programs, etc. Exactly. That's a fact. But, they try to throw Marion Barry under the bus because he got a little past. Even the news brought up, they try to throw a little jab and basically imply that we need a white mayor. That's what they tried to imply because they brung up Marion Barry And they say, you know, he was smoking crack and dealing with prostitutes. But still, although he was doing that, the man was a good mayor. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I don't agree with his lifestyle, but far as DC go, during the time Marion Barry was in office, DC was straight. DC was Chocolate City. Yeah, he did a whole lot of good for DC, but they tried to pretty much wipe that out of history. But I recommend that, you know, folks get out of DC. You know what I'm saying? These are part of the reasons I got out of DC. I realized a long time ago it was becoming a Fed state. You know, DC is the most highly surveilled location in the world. You know, it's where the White House is at. It's home of the FBI. It's home of the CIA. When it comes to gang stalking, DC is the worst place you want to live if you suspect that you being gang stalked, because they watching you in every which way. And I remember being there, you know, just being harassed all the time. I mean, constantly, you know, pulled over for no reason all the time. And it's partly because I come from a line of activists. You know, my granddad was a preacher, which I'm gonna be reacting to a lot of things my granddad did real soon in the near future. So y'all can understand I come from a bloodline of activists. And when I was born, there was a lot of community profiling going on. When I turned 18, they was trying to slap a record on me before I even got to start living my life. You know what I'm saying? You know, it is what it is. The point I'm trying to make is, you know, they're afraid of anyone having a powerful voice coming out of DC. And I've experienced that. So I knew that I had to leave. I knew I had to leave. But nonetheless, let's continue.
But with other clean and safe activities, and including making sure that our economy is supported by rational federal actions as it relates to the federal workforce, federal workers, and federal property in the District of Columbia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, DC has become a fair state. I'm gonna pull up what Trump is talking about, because there's gonna come a time where military is just gonna be everywhere, man. The movie Civil War is jumping right off the page. The Purge movies come to mind. And
in an extraordinary move, President Trump has ordered a federal takeover of the D.C. Police Department and the deployment of 800 National Guard troops to the nation's capital. Trump declared a crime emergency in D.C., even though violent crime there is at a 30-year low. Unlike other cities, Washington, D.C.
It's at a 30-time low, 30-year low. And the reason it's 800 is because they're targeting certain neighborhoods. Trump said it out his own mouth. He said we got entire neighborhoods shut down. Entire neighborhoods are shut down. Although crime is low as it ever been in 30 years. Now I want y'all to really consider that, not just Black America. All of America. What does that mean? And then he implied that Chicago is next. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's about time that we start to really move accordingly.
D.C. is not part of any state. Under the Home Rule Act, the president has the authority to federalize the Metropolitan Police Department for 30 days. Trump also authorized Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to work with state governors around the country to utilize additional National Guard units if necessary. Trump threatened to take action in other cities.
This issue directly impacts the
You notice that in other cities.
Functioning of the federal government, and is a threat to America, really. It's a threat to our country. We have other cities also that are bad.
You see, the reason he's bringing up other cities is because that's who's next. Other cities. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's unconstitutional for any military to be engaging the people. Now, he got through with a loophole with DC, but he's abusing his power. But now he's telling you that other cities need to be cleaned up. Now, you know what being cleaned up means, right? The homeless disappear. The homeless just disappear out of nowhere. They vanish. And there seems to be some witch hunt for specific criminals that's in certain neighborhoods. We don't even realize the criteria. They told us something about license, driving on a evoked license or something. They didn't give us no criteria to who they're looking for. I'm gonna tell you why, because they're looking for just black people. What does the scriptures tell us? When you see Jerusalem compassed with armies, flee into the hills. That's what the Bible tells us. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Our people are being compassed with armies, slowly but surely. It's going to come a time in New York when you go outside the projects, it's going to be National Guards out there. Y'all see all these videos that went viral a couple of years ago of all these army tanks on the back of trains? You wonder where they were going? You think they're going to go to war in another country? No, they're being stationed in cities in America. That's where they're being stationed. And make sure y'all get the likes up on the video. Show some support for the stream.
Very bad. You look at Chicago, how bad it is. You look at Los Angeles, how bad it is. We have other cities that are very bad. New York has a problem. And then you have, of course, Baltimore and Oakland.
Y'all hear that? These are the prime targets. And guess what? When he talks about these issues, he's talking about black people. This is who he's talking about. He's not talking about middle America. Y'all need to really incline your ear. If you have ears, let y'all hear. He's not talking about middle America or white America. Donald Trump is talking about us in these areas.
It's a threat to our country. We have other cities also that are bad, very bad. You look at Chicago, how bad it is. You look at Los Angeles, how bad it is. We have other cities that are very bad. New York has a problem. And then you have, of course, Baltimore and Oakland. We don't even mention that anymore. They're so far gone. We're not going to let it happen. We're not going to lose our cities over this.
Martial law in America is coming. An ethnic purge is going on in America right before our eyes.
And this will go further. We're starting very strongly with DC, and we're going to clean it up real quick, very quickly, as they say.
Trump's move came days after a former Doge staffer known as Big Balls was
known as Big Balls. Do you hear this shit?
Assaulted during an attempted carjacking. On Monday, Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser denounced Trump's order to take over the D.C. police.
And while this action today is unsettling and unprecedented, I can't say that given some of the rhetoric of the past, that we're totally surprised. We know that access to our democracy is tenuous. That is why you have heard me and...
Ladies and gentlemen, if you really are a supporter of my streams, of my broadcast, we need the likes to match the views. If y'all not interested in the information that I'm putting out here, then let me know right now and I'll end the stream. All right? Because there should be no reason why less than half of the viewers aren't supporting. That's all I ask.
Many Washingtonians before me advocate for full statehood for the District of Columbia. We are American citizens. Our families go to war. We pay taxes and we uphold the responsibilities of citizenship.
Protesters gathered Monday near the White House to condemn Trump's move.
Okay, so the protesters are out. And I'm hoping this is not one of these damn, fake protests that they like to stage. I hope this is really the people. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes they'll put these little proxies out there, but this what needs to happen, man. Somebody said it, DC or nothing, man. Somebody said it, man.
This is Kaya Chatterjee, Executive Director of Free DC.
Nothing Trump is doing right now is about our safety. That's right. If Trump cared about our safety, he would stop mass firings of federal workers. Taking away our jobs, our families' jobs, that isn't safety. If Trump cared about safety, he would stop kidnapping immigrant neighbors. Because terrorizing people, terrorizing families is not safety. If Trump cared about our safety, he would fund Medicaid. He would fund schools. He would fund SNAP. Because people being sick, out of school, and hungry is not safety. If Trump cared about DC's safety, he would make DC's prosecutor accountable to the people of DC so that they were listening to local leaders. These are the leaders, our local leaders, our communities are the ones who have reduced crime to a 30-year low.
Yep, crime has been reduced to a 30-year low. Trump is cutting food stamps, SNAP benefits, and, pretty much cutting off all subsidized living. And then he thought crime would go up. I believe the powers that be thought crime would go up in DC based on these austerity measures that we got going on. But crime is still low. So, he sent the National Guard regardless. He found a loophole in the system, sent the National Guard, and now our people are being persecuted out in DC. Doaz, thank you for the support, says, blessings. I was just down there. It is real. I saw a Caucasian homeless man passed away this weekend after I left the White House. It is real. Yeah, contrary to popular belief, not even 15 minutes from the White House, you will see homeless people. And I think DC has approximately around, 8,000 homeless. Something to that degree. And there is shelters, there is places they can go. Some of these people don't want to go in those shelters because, God knows what happens there. And so they'll camp out on the streets, camp out, downtown in various places. But Trump is saying, leave or else. And but there's no type of funding. There's no programs. And so the people are doing the best they can. DC has a whole lot of hardworking citizens. DC, when she talked about cutting federal jobs, y'all got to understand in DC, the citizens there all worked for the government. So those federal jobs he cut when he cut the DEI, those were regular mothers. Y'all got to understand, y'all thinking he was cleaning up the swamp when he cut jobs in DC. No, these are people who kept the books, did paperwork, data entry. These are our mothers and aunts. Black women, y'all remember when black women, it was a whole lot of them lost jobs. That's from the DEI cut, the federal jobs. There's a lot of black men, black women who worked for the government in DC. It wasn't just regular jobs. It wasn't just him cleaning up government corruption. No, these were regular 9 to 5s that people work that he cut. Somebody says, so why is Washington being taken over exactly? Because they're about to do the New World Order. If you want me to just speak to you straight up, they're getting ready to do martial law all over the country. But first they're going to start off by engaging all black communities. We on the list. They have convinced the world to have black fatigue. They have made us a problem. The more of that demonic rhetoric that goes out there, the closer we'll get to Jacob's trouble and the more engagement that you will see. Because listen, the world is being programmed to believe that black people are the problem. So when people agree with that, When it's going all through the media, it's going all through the airwaves that black people are savages, that black people are evil, that black people are the have-nots, then the world agrees, and then the powers that be can engage. Yeah, black fatigue is something they made up, claiming that they're tired of black people because we're the problem. Although Black Fatigue was really a book written by a black woman expressing the fatigue that we have from systematic racism and captivity. But they put that in reverse. Let's go.
Advocates for unhoused people in Washington, D.C. have also expressed alarm over Trump's threats. On Sunday, Trump wrote, quote, "The homeless have to move out immediately." Unquote.
Yeah, that's what he said. The homeless have to move out. Where the hell are they going to move out? They already out. That's what Trump said. The homeless have to move out immediately. Or else, pretty much.
Quote, "This is 56-year-old Fliget Rippey, who became homeless in Washington, D.C. after the house she lived in caught fire in March."
Give us a home. How about that? How about just giving people that need a home inside? Then we'd be inside. You just want to just throw us to the rats.
Her home was burnt down. And because, a lot of these insurance companies bailed out, she probably can't get another home.
We begin today's show with two guests. Khalil Gibran Muhammad is professor of African American Studies and Public Affairs at Princeton. He's a leading scholar on the history of policing, author of The Condemnation of Blackness, Race, Crime, and the Making of Modern Urban America, joining us from Oak Bluffs in Massachusetts. And in Washington, D.C., we're joined by Monica Hopkins. She's executive director of the ACLU of the District of Columbia. We welcome you both to Democracy Now! Monica Hopkins, let's begin with you. Talk about what it means to federalize the D.C. police force, to bring in 800 National Guard who are not trained in law enforcement, is that right, but deal with national emergencies or crowd control.
They're not trained in law enforcement. They deal with national emergency and crowd control. But they're going to war with DC neighborhoods. They're not even trained to police an environment. They trained to go in and shake something. So I want y'all to understand how severe this is. They train to pretty much go to war. They come with the 9mm, the tear gas, the AR-15s, the M4s, the flash grenades. This is what they do. Landed my plane says, "Hello, Nubreed. Please don't forget, these are the same people who invented the gas chambers in Trump's homeland of Germany, home of Margaret Sanger." Exactly. Yeah. And this is what Trump wants to do against regular people, residents. And you got people who believe that this should happen in every major city in America. There's some people who agree that this should happen to our communities all over the states. This is sick. Yeah, it definitely looks like history is repeating itself. Doaz, thank you for the contribution. She says, "That's why I filmed it. You will not see on mainstream DC is a test run. Other states open your eyes. That's what I'm saying." And that's partly why I'm doing this particular broadcast, because I really want people to see that if they can do this here, they can do it there.
What does this mean?
So this is the first time that we have seen Section 740 of the Home Rule Act actually enacted to federalize the Metropolitan Police Department. There are limitations on the president doing this, which is that he has to do it for an emergency for a limited period of time.
He did it with no emergency. There's no emergency in DC.
And for federal purposes. And that is a question. Now, as far as the National Guard, we have seen that in DC. We have seen the deployment of the National Guard in DC in 2020 against racial justice protesters. And what we saw were military-grade helicopters that hovered over DC following protesters through the downtown corridor where people eat.
You see that?
Go out to concerts. And
Look, bro out there with the chair against the whole squad. Bro done been maced twice.
enjoy
It's DC or nothing, bro. Bro built different, bro.
the nightlife in the city. And those
And they was protesting racial injustice, which we have the right to protest. That's our First Amendment. That's our First Amendment. So even this is unlawful to send the National Guards during a friendly protest. And that's how they did this, the Hispanics this year. And Trump has a history of deploying the National Guards when people are practicing their First Amendment. We don't have no real rights in this country. If too many of us come together on one accord to protest, they sending the damn boots to the ground. If you are considered a minority group, well, not a minority group, because you know now they done stole that from us. Every Gentile think they minorities. But if you a child of Israel, if you Black, Native American, Latino, Puerto Rican, so forth, if you melanated people and you gather together to practice the First Amendment, this was gonna happen. This was gonna happen.
helicopters broke windows, tore signs off of buildings, and really damaged not only the city, but the protesters.
Creative Minds, she says Jesus came for all. No, he didn't. Read your Bible, Creative Minds. Jesus came for the lost house of the children of Israel, the lost sheep of the house of Israel. That's scripture. Somebody share that scripture for Creative Minds. Because Jesus didn't come for all. He came for the children of Israel that the Bible speak of. Now create mind of Bree. I want you to argue with the scripture. Somebody share the scripture for me. Let's go.
And the ACLU DC represented one of those protesters. We received a fair settlement. However, the power of the president to actually call out the National Guard remains in place.
And Monica Hopkins, what about this this continuing trend of President Trump to declare virtually every issue he wants to act on a national emergency or a security threat to the country? How have the courts reacted to his use of these emergency powers so far?
Yeah.
Somebody said, however, didn't he die for the Israelites and the Gentiles? No, he died for the Israelites. He came and died for the Israelites. Matthew 15:24. But he answered and said, I am not sent but into the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But, there's a but, Gentiles can be grafted in. Gentiles can be grafted in. That's why it says grab hold of the skirt of an Israelite. That means y'all will have to learn the book, learn the truth in its entirety from God's people. We are supposed to delegate the word of God. And you're supposed to remember Christ as the scriptures have read. You know, skin of bronze, hair of wool. So, yeah, Gentiles can be engrafted in. But no, Christ came for the lost house of the children of Israel. That's the word. Anyway, let's go.
So we see sort of across, the country in places like LA and in various different courts that we cannot deploy the military against American citizens.
Well, that's why these devils are doing it, because the children of Israel are waking up. That's why they're deploying National Guards to target our communities, because we are God's people. And these devils going to have hell to pay for what they're doing to God's people. They know that they're running out of time. And we're living in Jacob's trouble right now.
In this way, the president has made up these blatant pretextual emergencies to justify calling out the National Guard, calling in law enforcement agencies to essentially take over cities and issues and blatant disregard for our democracy and our constitution.
Yeah, our democracy don't exist no more. We live in a tyrannical government. Our government has went rogue, essentially. We're being ran by a dictator at the moment. And what it seems like is that the Black community is the #1 target. And they're on some type of witch hunt in our communities. Only Lord knows what's actually happening. And that's what it is. Creative mind or breed. I'm being very patient with you. So I want you to be very studious with me. All right. Now, what I'm going to do for you is properly help you divide the word. In case you're new to the platform, I've been a biblical teacher for almost 10 years now. And I know my book. Now, that scripture that you're sharing is very much relevant. Where it says, there is neither Jew nor Gentile, neither slave nor free, nor is there male or female, for you all are one in Christ. Which means all can have salvation through Christ. But as the scriptures tell us, boast not against the natural branches. See, you're living in a world right now where people have boasted against the children of Israel and say that we've lost our promise so that they can have stock in our promise. So what we must understand is Christ came for us, but the Gentiles are able to be grafted in. So what I've described to you is what you're saying essentially, but I need you to understand that Christ came for his people. Because the scriptures also tell us, what benefit does it have being a Jew or a child of the Most High, Judite? What benefit? And it says it has all the benefit. All right? It has all the benefit. And see, let's accept the world. Listen, let's love everybody in Jesus and all of that. That's the reason why we don't have no inclusion as people. Because we're not stating claim to our promise. And see, I asked you to be studious, but you typed the whole way through. So, we got to do you like a child. We got to put you on timeout. Hey, King Connect put her on timeout. I asked her to be studious, mean listen. She says, I got my own channel. Great. Great. We'll teach on your channel. I'm telling y'all, man. And see, that's the issue when everybody look, Jesus loves everybody. Jesus is going to just accept it. This is the reason why we in the situation we in right now. This is the reason why we dealing with what we dealing with, because we don't have no type of inclusion. We don't state claim to Christ being us and coming from our stock and coming to deliver us. If people want stock in our race, they're going to have to believe in Black Jesus. If people want to be a part of salvation, they're going to have to follow us. And that's why the scripture says, I suffer not a woman to teach. That right there. But to remain quiet. And y'all seen I was patient with her. I was like, look, I'm being patient with you. I need you to be studious with me, meaning listen to what I'm saying. While I'm talking, she's typing the whole time. Y'all peep that? And that's the reason a lot of these sisters have problems. That right there. That's the reason why they don't be having no relationships and husbands and things like that, because men don't have time for that. You're on my platform. Sit back and listen. I may teach you something. And if you disagree, at least hear what I'm saying. But anyway, let's go.
And could you explain a little bit more about the D.C. Home Rule Act, which was signed into law by President Nixon?
Yep, Geraldo says, Christ was black and I'm Mexican and still love the Messiah the same way when I thought he was white. Exactly. See, we didn't care. We believed that Jesus was white at one time. We still serve Jesus. So anybody watching, don't come over here thinking that we racist because we're stating claim to our Messiah. And we saying that he came for us. He came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. She didn't even acknowledge that scripture. Nothing changed. That's who he came for. Now, can salvation come to the Gentiles? Yes, it can, but they have to be what? Engrafted in. But see, people like to leave that part out, that they have to be grafted in. So now you got everybody feeling like they're entitled to our salvation. No, y'all got your heaven here on earth. The Gentile nations got their heaven on earth. Our people been at the bottom. Our people been struggling. Our people went through the transatlantic slave trade. Our people been systematically oppressed. So Christ came for us. That's our hero. Now, if you want to partake in our salvation, then you better do right by us. You can't just claim Jesus came to love everybody and you're not educating who Christ was really repping for. I'm telling y'all, man, and I'm not speaking specifically to that sister right now. I'm talking about everybody who's viewing. I need y'all to understand the word for real. Not this lovey-dovey nonsense they taught in these Christian churches. That's why we on the brink of a new world order right now. We on the brink of all religions coming together because everybody want to be accepted, but nobody want to do the work. Everybody want approval, but nobody want to, seek real salvation and seek real truth.
Back in 1973, what does it allow or not allow the federal government to do?
Yeah, so in 1973, essentially Congress used to oversee the day-to-day operations of the District of Columbia. So people can think about what goes on in their own municipality or cities, trash pickup, road maintenance, all of those things. And Congress, who was not the elected body to take care of those things, decided to give the governance and overseeing of DC to the DC residents under what is known as the Home Rule Act. That means that in DC, we elect our own city council, we elect our own mayor, we pass our own laws, we raise our own taxes.
And that's why DC was the first target, because DC is sovereign. DC is his own land. DC is his own. DC is, I call DC District 12, you know what I'm saying? Because I watch Hunger Games. And when y'all hear me in my songs say District 12, my tribe with me, that's a double entendre, because I'm saying that DC is like District 12 because we doing our own thing. Y'all know in the Hunger Games, District 12 did what they wanted to do. And also, I'm talking about the 12 tribes of Israel. I'm talking about our people. You know what I'm saying? District 12, man, that might even be my album title, District 12. Telling you. Because it's like, man, if you can take out DC's sovereignty, then you can do whatever the hell you want to every other city. This right here is just a Trojan horse to what's coming. Heaven Made, thank you for the contribution, says, that's the topic you said They can't be saved. What? I didn't say they can't be saved. Esther Mary Lies. Heard you that why I typed the feedback. Go back and watch Jesus Spirit. What are you talking? Thanks for the $5, but somebody time this person out. Y'all just want to be a damn distraction. I gotta sit y'all on timeout like y'all children. Go sit in the corner and think about how to type. If you're gonna oppose what I'm saying, at least have some punctuation with yourself. Sheesh. Let's go.
Our city council is akin to, if you think about it, a state legislature. Our mayor is akin to a governor in a way, but without the power of states, we still have the congressional body that oversees the District of Columbia and can intervene in.
Go ahead and somebody time her out for at least the remainder of the stream. All right. I know I got a model. Let me see. Let me do it. Maybe my moderators aren't present right now. Let me see. 20 minutes. Let's just time you out for the remainder. I'm not blocking you. Let's just time you out for a minute. You need to think for a second.
District of Columbia affairs in ways they can't in any other jurisdiction.
Look at this. Jeremiah 31:31. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. That's right. The Lord's even the new covenant. That's with us. Listen, the new covenant is with us, so-called foundational Black Americans and melanated folks across the four corners. That's with us. And Judah is the king's tribe, so we're going to lead the charge. Let's go.
And that means that they can directly legislate on District of Columbia.
I will be giving out some wrenches in the near future. You know, we need to be getting our live stream count up, and then I'll go ahead and distribute some more wrenches.
They can enact disapproval resolutions when we pass our laws. Many Americans are familiar with that. When the Congress passed a disapproval resolution when we tried to pass a reformed criminal code. And then additionally, Congress.
Look, you know what's crazy? I don't even see our people out there protesting. And this is what I'm talking about, these little fake protest proxies. I'm not saying it's not real, but I mean, these people are protesting for a different reason. That's what I'm going to say. They protesting because probably the federal job cuts, you know, certain issues that they may be dealing with. But this is not, listen, you know why we're not protesting? Because they too busy in the hood with National Guards. The reason why you don't see us out there protesting, because we trapped in our neighborhoods right now in DC. You're not going to see us out there because we can't go out there. Prisoners in our own communities. What if I told y'all once upon a time under Marion Barry, we was DC? You couldn't walk downtown without seeing a black face. What if I told you once upon a time everybody in DC was black? When I grew up, DC was Chocolate City. When my pops grew up, DC was Chocolate City. There was no, what you see right here, this didn't even exist. I'm talking about DC was 95.9% black. 95% black was DC. Y'all think Atlanta is something. Man. Y'all think Atlanta is something. Listen, I went to a lot of high schools because I used to get in trouble. Every high school I went to, we only had 2 white kids in each school. I'm not lying. If we seen a white kid in our school, he's like, damn. And we was always cool with the white kid. We was always cool with the 2 white kids that was there. But in every high school that I've been in, it was all black. I mean, all black. I was raised around all of my people. I'm telling you. I ain't so much as seen a white person till I went back home, went back to my where I was born, because I was not born in D.C. I was raised in D.C. I left my homeland at my birthplace at 6 years old. Until I went back to West Virginia and visited, I ain't seen so much seeing a white person. I think when I was in D.C., I might have had one white teacher out of 5 high schools. Yeah, if somebody says now Northwest is Vanilla City. I'm telling you, like this right here. These people protesting for different reasons. The people who really should be out there, they can't because their neighborhoods being damn surrounded by the damn National Guards right now.
Even though it is our budget with our tax money, Congress can put appropriation.
You got this one sister right here. She got the American flag, Joan. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, let's go.
Riders on the federal budget that tell DC what we can and cannot spend to run our city.
On Monday, President Trump threatened violence against protesters, saying, if you spit and we hit, this is part of what he said.
Entire neighborhoods are now under emergency curfews.
Entire neighborhoods are under emergency curfews. I don't know. I think they froze my chat. Entire neighborhoods. Somebody said, show the footage of their neighborhoods, please. Hey, I'm just telling you what the president just said. Oh, I guess you jumped out and said that too early, didn't you? That Trump supporter didn't know Trump was just about to say neighborhoods are under curfew. That's martial law. That's martial law. That's why ain't nobody out there protesting. How the hell they gonna go on the protest when Trump is targeting all the black neighborhoods and got them barricaded in their houses?
Part of what he said.
Entire neighborhoods are now under emergency curfews. Just this past weekend, gunfire went through, and you saw that the Navy Yard. I saw it this morning. They saw that they fought back against us. See, they fight back until you knock the hell out of them.
They fight back until you knock the hell out of them. Like, what footage do we have of us fighting back? And what? And listen, I'm gonna tell y'all. Oh man, I just got this download. Wow. Trump is speaking in code. He said they fight back till you knock the hell out of them. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what has been happening in the media? Let me see if y'all catching this wave right now. What has been happening in the media right now? All the stories you've seen, it's only been our people doing what? Fighting back. Man, this is a coded message to Black America. Don't fight back. Don't fight back. Man, hold on. This person must have made another account. Because I swear I put him on, I put this person on timeout for 30 minutes. I don't know how they got back. He said, if we fight back, then knock the hell out of them. Y'all don't get what's going on, man. This is a double entendre. This is against self-defense. This is against defending ourselves. They send the National Guard to our communities and say, and then they marvel at people fighting back. They marvel at people fighting back. So they could just go in our communities and just start grabbing people up. Listen.
Said.
Entire neighborhoods are now under emergency curfews. Just this past weekend, gunfire went through, and you saw that, the Navy Yard. I saw it this morning. That
Hey, Heaven Made Sound, you have to send me at least $10 for me to, respond to your comments. He said, I got more accounts, my boy. That person just determined. I read that one, but next time if you want a response, send about, you're going to have to send about 50 to get a response out of me. All right?
I saw that they fought back against law. See, they fight back until you knock the hell out of them because it's the only language they understand. But they fought back against law enforcement last night.
He said they fought back against law enforcement last night. We don't have no footage of that. Far as we know, they just came to a neighborhood and sniped some people out. We don't know what the hell going on. The feds be moving real shady. The feds move real shady.
And they're not going to be fighting back long because I've instructed them and told them whatever happens, they love to spit in the face of the police as the police are standing up there in uniform. They're standing and they're screaming at them.
I mean, they shouldn't be out there. Why the hell you got the National Guard out there, Orange Man? This man I've never seen a human with this skin complexion in my life. Like, what color is this? I have never seen a human a day in my life. This is a Oompa Loompa. Oompa Loompa Doopa Dee Doo. I got the National Guard coming for you. What do you call savages? Savages. Savages. Man, I tell you, boy, I got orange fatigue, bro. I got orange fatigue out here, man. I'm telling you, man. I can't wait till the Most High send his son, Yahweh Shai, back to eliminate these people, bro. I can't wait. I can't wait till the Most High send his son to knock the hell out of these people, bro. I'm telling you. I ain't going to take matters into my own hand. I ain't trying to recruit no militia, no army, none of that. Because you got people on here saying I'm a damn black extremist. I'm just saying I'm waiting on the Most High to send his son back. Cause I ain't never much seen this right here. Man, I'm telling you.
Away from their face. And then they start spitting in their face. And I said, you tell them, you spit and we hit. And they can hit real hard.
Trump talking about protecting law enforcement.
Now, mind you, talking about residents that live in neighborhoods. That's who we talking about. That's who we really talking about.
After he pardoned over 1,200 January 2nd.
Yeah, he got a cheddar. Somebody said it. He got a cheddar cheese complexion. That man's skin complexion looked like Gouda. Like, what the hell? How did that happen? Like, y'all can't even say that I'm racist. I'm not even talking about YT people. This orange person right here, bro. Not her. She not orange. Yeah, cheese whiz colored species. Messing with my city. Dude messing with my city, y'all.
Rioters in the
somebody said he looked like Orange Tang. Y'all remember the drink Tang? I'm telling you.
Days afterwards, 5 police officers died. There were over 140 injured by the protesters, and now
damn, where all that happened? They talking about protesters being injured and all that. Where all that happened?
Of the latest news, Jared Wise, who was in mid-trial when Trump pardoned him, is been hired by the DOJ. He is seen on video released by NPR saying kill the cops and F the
Y'all notice y'all not seeing no more ads. I got my YouTube Premium back. Got my YouTube Premium back, y'all. So y'all get to watch this ad free. And yeah, I'm promoting YouTube Premium.
cops, Monica Hopkins?
Yeah, so in the District of Columbia, this is a serious concern. We have a federal prosecutor who is not elected by the District of Columbia, is not accountable to the District of Columbia. Our police force needs to engage in constitutional policing. And what we have seen work in communities for public safety is when communities can trust the police. And this administration actually pardoned.
And see, once upon a time in DC, the citizens could trust the police. Like, you knew who your policemen were. You know, when it was Chocolate City, you know what I'm saying? You would have police come to your stoop, come to your neighborhood, come to your block. You know what I'm saying? You could shoot some ball with the police. Police would come out there and play basketball with you, bro. That was a time that would happen. Or, you know, the police would know who is who, and the police will warn you to stay away from certain people. Like, all police wasn't bad because you knew who your police were. You knew when there was a police that was on some BS. And look, the police that was on some BS back then, listen, I'm gonna tell y'all the truth, man. Look, they used to rumble with people. Like, they used to just rumble. They used to just shoot fair ones. There's a few situations I know growing up where the police put their badge down instead of locking somebody up when somebody was talking trash. One of the street brothers out there, and they went and shot fades with brothers. Like, it was like that. It wasn't just geeky police officers who were afraid. Like, it wasn't just scared ass police back in the day. Know what I'm saying? It was some of them that was like, yeah, they grew up in that neighborhood. They grew up in that neighborhood. Like, Slim, who you talking to? Like, I take this badge off, we can go in the alley. Like, on that type of time. I'm telling y'all, they knew the people. You knew who the cops were. Now they got these damn militarized. You got these militarized Autobot, Decepticon, juiced up white supremacist, demonic ass police out there. Yeah, it wasn't no Beverly Hills ass cops out there. No, there was some street dudes that was cops in DC. Similar to Atlanta. Similar to Atlanta, because Atlanta got some too. You know what I'm saying? Like, Atlanta police aren't the worst. You know what I'm saying? They aren't the worst. They got some cool police. I last time that I was downtown, a cop ran into me, was like, he watched my channel. He was like, yo, keep doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Dude was cool. So police, you know, it is what it is, man. But the police there now in DC, man, them niggas is not ICE, but they National Guards.
Officers who were prosecuted by the Department of Justice and found guilty of murdering Karan Hilton. This sort of broad call from the president to enact violence against protesters, against the residents of the District of Columbia is deeply, deeply troubling.
It is. It's very troubling. He's telling them to enact violence on protesters, bro. Our First Amendment is gone. He want the National Guard to enact violence against friendly protesters. And this is not the first time he did that. He did it with our Hispanic brothers and sisters. Man, what's the nation coming to, man? What y'all think? It's not looking too good, man. It's not looking too good. Martial law is approaching. America will be under deep surveillance in the near future. 15-minute urban mobility cities are on the way. In order to create these urban mobility cities, they're going to have to squeeze out certain ethnic persuasion, right? They're trying to make their little utopia here on earth. But the Most High, He going to pay y'all a visit. He going to pay y'all a visit. All you corrupted individuals in government, politics, listen, y'all going to have to deal with the consequences when our Messiah return. Nonetheless, man, thank y'all for coming through, viewing me. Y'all could have been anywhere, but y'all decided to watch this broadcast. I want to thank y'all. Y'all be blessed out there. Shalom. Peace.